Hello everyone, we have Nicole, Adi and James here from the UK, and we're gonna attempt probably the most person per litre build, because this is a 60p and there's 4 of us. What we're gonna do is, first of all, we're gonna go to the Hardscape room and you guys should select whatever you wanna use. I'm not gonna take part in the actual build. You guys sort that out, and I'm just gonna bother you with questions throughout.
We want some soil in the back, definitely, because you want a stem cluster here, probably red, or just green, I don't know.
Like a big red sun sort of shape.
Put some rocks. We want sand and gravel right round.
I think sand and gravel's right round.
Right round.
Yeah.
That was like that. Like a Lego.
The guys came from the UK. Nicole and James are owners of Horizon Aquatics, and Adi is their friend and customer, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Correct.
Who's leading the team now?
By the looks of it, Adi's leading the team, for sure.
Adi is so particular. If it's not exactly how it was in the dojo, he'll cry himself to sleep.
I think this scape as well will be the fastest scape he's ever done.
Okay.
In the gallery at Horizon, it takes 3 days to do hardscape, 2 days for planting.
The only limitation we gave to the guys is to have something different than what we already had on the 60p lineup. That's gonna be an island composition, which we don't have at the moment, so that's cool.
Yeah, but we lost the island now, because that was closer this way, I'm sure it was.
Kind of, but I think once we get the rocks and we can make it...
Quite symmetrical.
Yeah, I know, we're just saying once we get the rock and we can twist it around a little bit and...
There's no symmetrical tanks in the gallery, so we were going for something different.
No symmetrical.
We don't have an empty tank either. Just saying, if you want to do it quickly. How you guys even came to do aquascaping? When did you start?
Mostly was into fish and worked in like just a general aquatics shop. And then you kind of get bored of like plastic plants and all that sort of thing as you do when you think, wow, my tank looks so tacky when you find a planted tank. So yeah, went from tacky to classy planted.
And you started out together, the hobby?
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
So yeah, besides doing the shop together, you're also a couple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not me.
No, Adi.
I was always fascinated by Dutch aquariums.
Okay.
Because that, in general books, that's what you used to see. And I always wanted to know how to grow them, but never did. And then I found UK apps.
It's the good old days before Facebook and everything else.
Victor was on there, you know, and a lot of people on there that you see now still in the hobby, but yeah. And then found the nature aquarium books, and that was it. I loved that then, more so than the Dutch style. I've never actually done a Dutch tank, but yeah, it was just the way the plants grew.
For me, previously to doing aquascaping was high-end reefing, like all different types of corals. And I worked in a shop what just specialised in like the higher end corals. And
It's not as relaxing for me.
no, you're doing more testing than you are enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole point in aquascaping and keeping fish, is to enjoy the aquarium more. Has anyone asked that question to you, Tommy?
I never had fish growing up, and I never had anything like this in my life. And in my early 20s, I have no idea why or how, it just popped in my mind that I want to keep fish. I have a good friend who I knew had an aquarium. I knew it was somewhat of a professional aquarium, and he just said, okay, just go to this place called Green Aqua. And I went in, and yeah, I've seen the aquascapes. And at that moment, it was okay, I don't want fish. I mean, I want fish in there, but I don't want an aquarium, I want an aquascape. You need paper towel and glue, correct?
Yes.
Have you guys ever built a tank like this together before?
Backwards, no.
No, not backwards. That's a challenge as well, I know.
James and Adi have done a tank together.
And the Rio Zingo can go around there.
Yeah, true.
You can get one right, will one fit in there between them?
Maybe.
For any of the native English-speaking viewers, you can actually find subtitles for them speaking. That's a good feature of YouTube.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Could someone summarize the hardscape so far? What was the plan?
What's the shape? The rise of the phoenix.
Lotus.
It had to be different to all the other ones, and there's loads of like triangle ones. We would do an island scape with a dip in the middle. That was just Aidy's idea.
You've only got one contact point.
It doesn't matter, we can stick a stone in there.
I'm working on it.
How many people does it take to build a 60p? So we're just finalising the hardscape now. We're putting in a couple of rocks at each side, and this is to stop the soil from migrating over into the sand foreground. We're going to come in now with Power Sand S. This is a small grain for smaller tanks. We're going to pop this in, and this allows beneficial bacteria to get underneath the substrate layer and to harvest plenty of bacteria for the root systems. Now we're going to add some Denale Rio Zingu. This is to add detail, but it's also to stop the soil mixing in with the sand layer.
Why you chose the Rio Zingu? This is actually a gravel that we don't use too often.
It goes quite well with a lot of rocks, but Frodo has the little white veins in, so the little white bits in the Rio Zingu, and the angular, it's quite angular, so it's really complements the stone nice. Yeah.
We use it a lot to block like sand off as well because it's so chunky. It fills the gaps good.
Amazonia version 2 comes with root tabs. We're going to pop them in first just to seed it out with more nutrients, and then we'll come over the top with the version 2.
It actually seems perfect, so I don't see any soil in the front. Usually we need to clean up after something like this. Okay, so it's a mix of ADA, Colorado and La Plata. That's something I believe we haven't done either before. Well, not me personally. Okay, yeah, that looks cool.
Orange tones.
Aqua gravel, it's smaller than the Rio Zingu, but a lot of the colour tones are very similar. You can use it on the edges where the sand meets the Rio Zingu, and it just transitions it a little bit more, adds a little bit more extra detail. I like to use my hands to do this.
This is the part which I usually don't have the patience for.
On this scape, we're going to plan from the back to the front. Nicole's going to start off with Rotala Blood Red.
Well, have fun.
Thank you.
Favorite plants?
That is so hard.
I like Cryptospiralis Red at the minute.
I think I've got to go with Boost Flandre Kedagang. It's always been a firm favourite of mine.
Just Java moss.
Really?
Yeah.
Yours?
I don't know, I'm not prepared for this. Hair grass is always going to be there for me. But yeah, if I'm like on plant that goes as an accent, not like a main plant, Blixa japonica.
Now we're going to plant Hygrophila araguaia in the side.
With the planting, we wanted to achieve bright pops of colour in the background for the stems, and then lots of greens for the epiphytes with some slightly darker purpley colours from the Hygrophila. This is just a smaller fern, and it's got quite a narrow leaf. It's called narrow leaf, but nothing too huge because we don't want to like disguise all the detail, I suppose.
I would describe it as organised chaos. Disorganised chaos, anyway. There wasn't a plan.
Yeah, I think it's hard escaping together.
It is, especially when you don't have a plan.
Do you want one there? Do you want one here? Guys.
Just go for it. It's
Do what you want to do.
Has anyone introduced the Ario colon thing? Is it Vietnam?
I think so.
We can have a montage of James and plant names.
Staragini rupets. Hygrophila araguaia? Hygrophila. Oh no, not again. Malawi pink. Eliocolon Vietnam. Why? Did he even say it right? I'm not saying that. No, I'll let Tommy say it.
No, it's weeping moss, we call it weeping moss, that don't make him sweat.
This is why we should always use gloves, people.
Marcella hirsuta, it's a small creeping, it's a fern, is it? I think it's
Believe so, yes.
Yeah. Looks like a four-leaf clover a little bit.
Yeah.
just creeps along the floor, quite a easy to grow plant.
I really like this small cave in there.
Yeah,
We could tell people that it was on purpose.
it was.
It's the shadow zone.
If you need to figure out right now what fish would you guys choose for this setup
What do you guys think?
and why?
And why?
Yeah, I can make like dickhead questions like this. No, I just realized.
First choice we would go with is Tucano Tetra.
Yeah, which we don't even know what it is, but we'll check it out.
Second choice, what would we go for?
The ones that hide the ruby tetras.
In here in the gallery, our experiences, they are hiding all the time because of people moving in front of the tanks constantly.
Yeah. You know, I was saying about Aidy's known for his detailing skills.
He's gonna get into it now.
Sorry.
We've asked for something else, something different from what we already have, and you guys delivered. Well, Adi delivered. Thanks for building a tank for us. No, actually, it was a great teamwork, amazing setup, something new. We've learned a lot, actually. Sadly, it's time for you guys to go head back home. I'll be back in a few seconds to let you guys know how the tank looks in a few weeks' time. Now you say goodbye in there. Bye. And here we are a few weeks later, and the fish are inside. Although they are not really visible, they are hiding a lot. We went for Boraras naevus, otherwise known as strawberry rasboras. They're really nice. I'm really hoping they're gonna get a bit more brave. As for the first few weeks of the tank, we had a couple plants melting, not really sure why, and it wasn't really a big issue. We replaced a few plants, and then ever since it's working out all right. We also had the usual fungus issue with the wood, which is not an actual issue. It's completely natural that this white gel type stuff covers some bits of the wood. It happens sometimes, not always. If it happens to you, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. Algae eaters clean it off. You can clean it off when doing your water changes, and it's not even a problem if it's there. It disappears after a few weeks on its own. The only thing you need to make sure of is it doesn't start to cover your plants. So if you see that it starts to climb on your anubiases or butzflandras or whatever, just suck it off with your water changing hose, and that's it. Don't worry about it. I actually like this tank a lot. I think we've achieved the goal, which in a case of someone visiting and making a new tank to a gallery, the goal is always to have something different from what we usually build, and it's different enough, I think. Please let us know what you guys think about this project. To show you how long we go back with Nicole and James, I've actually visited the shop a few years ago and done a workshop, my very first workshop. You can check that out here. No, you can check that out here. I always mess this up. Should I start over?